Good afternoon, Stitch Roadies. Thank you for stopping by. If you are new to this channel, it's a channel about cross stitch, supposedly. But if you like it, you can stop and subscribe and wait till you're a little ways into the video and give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. So, what have I been doing? A little bit of this and that, a little bit of reevaluating. Life has been somewhat of a, sometimes it's just somewhat of a conundrum, huh? And you kind of reevaluate your choices in your life, and things go on with your friends and your relatives, and it just gives you pause. It totally gives you pause. And for whatever reason, that's where I have been for this last week. And so I've been kind of, I don't know what it was exactly. I know that a lot of my friends are dealing with issues in their lives, and it was like, okay, let's just pause and take a moment. And as G says to me when I'm reading the news, he says, "Is there any good news?" Sometimes I have to say there isn't. But then I bring up the Instagram videos. I mean, there are some funny videos on there. And that always then makes me feel a little bit more lighthearted. Besides the fact that getting to Zoom, I still am, I know a lot of you are so over the Zoom, but I still am very much into the Zoom community because it allows me to interact with people that I normally would not be able to because they live on the other side of the world or the country, different time zones. And when you connect with people that are outside your community, it broadens your horizons in a variety of different ways. You find out that you're not alone in this journey. You are absolutely not alone. And sometimes that's all I need to know, is that, oh, there's someone who's walked this walk, or who, if they haven't, they're still right beside you. So I am still very much into the Zoom, and I appreciate those people that host the Zooms because I'm all in. I'm all in. It allows me to sit around in my own chair with my own stuff and still commiserate. And I had a Zoom last night with Margaret, who is the host, and you can contact Margaret through Acorns and Threads. Actually, she does a lot of the samples there, and sometimes Janine actually is hosting the Acorns and Threads at the same time, and we get to a little show and tell from what's come into the shop. And then today was my Patreon group, which Linda, who hosts Van Accessibles on Patreon, is just a lovely host, and I just really enjoy that. I always come away with feeling better. I always feel better. So yeah, you might consider it, even though everybody says, oh, the pandemic's over, they're over Zoom. I don't know, I'm still right in there. So what have I been doing? Well, first of all, first business out of the way, I'm going to wait until the next video to announce the people who are going to get the charts that were so wonderfully donated by the Everyday Stitcher. And there's just nice little packs of them. So if you are still, if you do not know what I'm talking about, go watch the previous video, and then do what I tell you. And I will be, when I'm back from my sister vacation, I will do the random number picker, and G will post those at the end of the video, but not this video. I decided to let it go one more time because I'm kind of busy, and I couldn't get to the post office anyway. I have been watching a few floss tubes while I've been stitching, and you know, I got my girlfriends, you know, like Stitching with the Sisterlies, Colleen and Cheryl. They just always crack me up. I really, and it seems like lately I've been watching a lot of two people floss tubes, and sometimes I wish I had done that, but I don't know who I would do it with. You know, there's nobody right around me that, you know, you could do together or something. It's got to be, it's convenient. It's got to be convenient with both people. And I don't know how Cheryl and Colleen do it in two different states. I mean, yeah. But I love those ones. And so, because they play off each other and they encourage each other and you learn something. So I was watching Linen and Scraps, and two friends, total, I mean, they are amazing stitchers, you know, and they sent me down a bit of a rabbit hole. They were talking about some patterns, and they used the word free in the same word as chart, and so I like stopped the video and I, what, and they sent the viewers to a blog, and Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting, and it was a series of salt box pillows, little stitched pillows. And so and they're free. Did I say free? I meant to say free. That sounds like some commercial. I can't remember it. But I can show you the chart because it's free. So in our backyard, we have a whole gang of crows. I mean, a whole gang of them. And when we go sit out every afternoon, about 4 o'clock, we go sit out there and commiserate about our day with each other. They get to squawking. I mean, they are like squawking like they got a boombox going and a big party. But the reason they're squawking is they really don't want us to sit in our backyard. Once we put the umbrella up, then they can't get to our bird seed feeder. And so they're in the tree squawking away, but they're kind of a crack up. And now the babies are all bigger than the parents, and they're much more vocal. And I follow this guy on Instagram, I can't even remember his name, but he has crows that bring him little presents. He started feeding them. I do not want to feed these crows because they already are decimating my bird feeders for the little birds. But I do like them. I do like them. And so I decided to print out, what does this have to do with cross stitch? Yeah, you can tell I got a little bit of fruit sugar on board. So Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting is the blog. And yeah, pinkerpumpkinquilting.blogspot.com, and I will put it in the drop-down box. But I printed out 2 of them. There are like 12 of them, and they're all free. Did I tell you free? This one is called the Old Crow Salt Box, and is that not cute? Is that not the cutest thing? I wanted to print all 12, but I thought, no, realistically, Anna, be realistic. It's not normal for me to be realistic, but I tried to this time. This one I also loved was called Aunt Bee's Summer Home. Yeah, so those two are definitely going on my winter stitch. I'm kind of reevaluating how I'm doing things. I mean, isn't that the way? I mean, you try to figure out what's working, what's not working. And as if you have been here for a while, you know that I have a designated stitch in the evening. And that is because I decided in the spring that I wanted to cross stitch gifts for birthdays. So I met the deadline, and I decided in the spring, so this didn't start at the beginning of the year. So I put a little pressure on myself. So I met the deadline for my younger son, and that was the dragon, Here Be Dragons. I love that, and it's hanging in his office, which really warms my heart. And now I have the primitive hair project that got done and is at the framers right now, and will actually get back just in time. Yes. Then the third, the one I moved on to next, is the Blue Flower Forest Home, and this is for my older son. And here's where I'm at. And his birthday is in September. So I need to get this done by, realistically, by the end of the second week in August, so there's time for framing. So that's why I only stitch on that in the evening. And during the day, I'm not a monogamous stitcher by any means. I have too many whips for that. So I allow myself to stitch whatever I feel like during the daytime. But once I hit that chair after dinner, then it's the designated stitch. And I need to, as soon as this one gets done, move on to the next designated stitch, which is for my sister. And it's in a beautiful, look at this beautiful Crafty Cory Stitches bag. I mean, I just love it. I love that it has a clear plastic so I can see inside, and that it's kind of, it's not floppy. It's really nice what she lines them up. And then it has this beautiful little charm. And these bags are available at Acorns and Threads. So you can call up Acorns and Threads and ask them what bags are there, and they can give you an idea. You can get one. My sister lives in wine country, and so when I saw this chart, I just fell in love with it. And I knew that it was going to be perfect for her. I am adjusting it. So this is the chart. Jeanette Douglas. And I'm doing this one, but I am taking a page from Kim, I believe it's Kim the Contented Stitcher, that does portions of charts. And so I am doing from here down on 40 count. maybe it's from here down. Did you hear that brain pause? I know you wondered, did something go wrong with the audio? The colors are all all these beautiful silks. Oh, they're just so lovely. So I've got this one all ready to go, because as soon as I'm done with the Forest Home, I'm going to be hitting this one. And then I have 2 more designated stitches for to wrap up the end of the year. Next year, I'm already thinking about next year is going to be my year. And that is where I'm going to stitch only what I want to stitch. Day or night, night or day, Monday through Sunday, any day of the week, anytime, no one's the boss of me. But this year, I'm really enjoying that. I mean, it's such a commercial world. And for whatever reason, I decided I really wanted to make handmade gifts. I really wanted to make handmade gifts. And so, yeah. I was watching Audrey, Stitchy Witch 42, and she had such a great Flosstube. You're going to have to go check it out. And really, no matter what Flosstubes you are watching, it would be nice to subscribe to them and give them a thumbs up, because the algorithms of YouTube, you know, it's all weighed to their advantage. So if you could be kind and do that for the Flosstubers, then they will keep on keeping on. Because there's a lot of frustration that goes on the back side of this, let me tell you, including the trolls. So Audrey stitched Daisy Joe Designs Don't Feed the Trolls, because Daisy Joe's Designs designed a chart specifically because Audrey did a public service announcement of Don't Feed the Trolls. Now, you would think that we're just Flosstubers here, we're just cross-stitchers, that we wouldn't have to deal with trolls, but we do. You just can't let it get you down. So Audrey inspired this chart that was designed, and then she went ahead and stitched it. And I know I've said this before, that she is genius when she came to stitching this, because she stitched it in the round. You really do have to go look at her Flosstube. So her trolls are not stripy looking. They are exactly what you would think a troll would look like. Kind of mangy, hairy, just perfect. And so she gives you on her Flosstube an up-close look at her trolls. Now, I know it might be a little uncomfortable when you go and watch, because it is laying across her chest and you are staring at it really closely, but it's really about the trolls, really about the trolls. The thing about that way that she stitched that is it makes me look at everything else that I might stitch differently. So if there are flowers or rocks, why do I have to stitch back and forth? Why can't I stitch them in the round? Really, go take a look. Go take a look. I also loved when she said, don't discount your mistakes. And I actually think that should be a hashtag. Hashtag DDYM. Don't discount your mistakes. They might add a little bit of artistic look to whatever you're doing. Okay, so what else? In watching, I actually took some notes because there was so many good things on Flosstube this week. So the free charts, you're going to want them. You're going to want to go look at them. Were from Linen and Scraps. And Cheryl, Stitching with the Sisterlies, asked me if I had seen this floss tube that was called Floss Bossin Cousins. Floss Bossin Cousins. Nope, can't say I have. She said, you're gonna want to. They are a riot. And I'm here to tell you, yep, they are a riot. You would definitely either want to wear Depends or go to the restroom first, because it's nothing but a good time. And right now, I don't know about you, but I just want to laugh. I want a belly laugh. I don't want to think about anything negative anymore. And they're a hoot. They're two cousins, and they are just a hoot and a half. And I was trying to figure out, because I always try to figure out if am I attracted to a certain show, a certain television show or Flosstube? What is it that is attractive about it? And with Floss Bossin Cousins, I mean, you gotta admit, since G's maternal side of his family comes from Kentucky, I love all of the, what do you call those, local language sayings, how the descriptive words that they use, or phrases, it's the phrases they use to describe the world that they live in that make 100% sense, but make you laugh out loud. And I was like hanging on every word because I was missing all those cousins in Kentucky and his uncle who had passed away. I mean, I could sit and listen to him all day because he sounded just like Festus on Gunsmoke. I mean, truly. He'd been told that over and over and over again, but that's how he sounded. From however he grew up, and the cadence of the language and the storytelling was so much richer for that. And Floss Bossin Cousins, I mean, oh, I loved every second. And I know I hit the subscribe button. I know I'm going to be coming back to them. Yeah. I also heard this week that, and I can't remember if it was Scraps and Linens or Floss Bossin Cousins, but that there are some stitches that can make you monogamous, a monogamous stitcher. And that's true. There's some that really draw you. So I was going into my bookcase. I have a bookcase that I got at IKEA that I stack all my project bags with the whips. And I walked in there and I didn't know, I just knew I wanted to stitch something different. It was during the daytime hours, so it wasn't designated stitch time. And I said, what do I want to stitch on now? And I immediately gravitated towards this project, and it's in this beautiful project bag by Lorraine. With the little A, be inspired, be inspired. And look at, someone made me this sweet little needle book. But what am I talking about? Now, what I remember about this chart is that there were 4 of us that were like doing a stitch along. It was Sandy and Robin and Lori and I. And I do believe everyone got it done. But I also remember that we were on a plane and Robin spilled coffee all over hers and she still got it done. Mine, not done, not done. But I did put some stitches in it, and it's kind of like, you remember that you like this certain flavor of ice cream, but you hadn't had it in years, and all of a sudden you saw, like, oh my gosh, at the Italian Villa in Monterey County, they served spumoni ice cream. I mean, not like you get in the grocery store. It was like real spumoni ice cream. It's like you want to taste that all over again. So once I started stitching, I brought it out and started stitching on it this week. I thought, oh, it's going to be hard to put this away. But here is my... Now, I have no idea. It's been so long since I touched this that I have no idea why I stitched that corner, why I stitched this, and why I stitched that bit down there. I have no idea what was going on in my mind. But when I brought it out, what I ended up stitching was all of these motifs here and this little motif over there. And I have to say, I love this project. I love this project. But I'm going to be putting it away to be rediscovered. Yeah, putting it away to be rediscovered. Because I need to work on the designated stitch. And I really love this the Forest Home. This was from last year's Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. And I noticed when I was stitching that I'm just off one stitch on the bottom, and I'm not sure it's going to bother me enough to take out the whole bottom frame, that one line, you know, right here, this line here, to move it up one stitch. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that. So we'll see. But I just love the waterfall, and the trees are fantastic. So I'm going to be taking this with me on my trip. Because you can't travel without some stitching, or you might have a panic attack. Now, when I went to Acorns and Threads for a stitch day last week, I took this project with me, and I know I want to do that. I just know I want to do that. And so this is kind of my go-to stitch project when I just want to take something and not think about it hard, and it's a small, and you know, and it's in this beautiful bag. And someone asked me who this bag is by, and there's absolutely no mark on it. There's no tag, there's nothing. It came with a little felt pad and a scissor holder. It's just gorgeous, but there is absolutely no tag to remind me where I got this. Okay, I'm just looking around, making sure I didn't forget anything. let's see, books. So I finished, I think I might have already told you, but I finished This Is How It Always Is. I couldn't put it down. I mean, it was like a power read. It was, I can't even describe, it was educational, it was emotionally charged, it was moments where you reevaluated your thought processes. Yeah, it's a book I would recommend. It's going to open up your eyes in a way that might be uncomfortable, but it might be a good thing. And then the other book I finished was called The Diamond Eye. I think I talked about this before, by Kate Quinn, and it was a historical, based on historical fact, about, it's the strangest thing. I know it's a weird thing. I was telling G that this book is based on World War II, a female sniper, a Russian sniper, who she wrote a memoir, and then this book was written by taking information from the original memoir. She did move things around a bit, but to think that a female Russian sniper, World War II, came to the United States on a goodwill tour, met with Eleanor Roosevelt. I mean, there were so many things, you know, we don't know everything. We believe we're smarter than we are. And I just thought how odd the world is that right now we are at odds with Russia, but in World War II we were allies. I don't know. It just makes you wonder. Yeah. So I love history, and I thought The Diamond Eye was worth the read. Currently I'm wrapping up, I'm just wrapping up Picture in the Sand, which is also a good book, but I'll tell you more about that later. G and I did take our oldest grandson to Mission Impossible movie, and that was what you would expect a Mission Impossible movie to be about. It was a little disturbing in terms of that the bad guy, if there's a bad guy, was artificial intelligence. Not really comfortable with that. Not really comfortable with that, but we did have a good time with our grandson. Okay, so all of you, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're healthy, praying that you're healthy and that your stitching's going well. And I would love to hear in the comments what you're reading and what your approach to stitching is. I'm finding that there's so many different ways, as many different ways as there are stitchers, but it's curious to move in and out of a pattern, and so I'd like to know what you're doing. Love you guys. Take care.